family, and welcome to another installation of Foundational Fridays. I am Assaan-ANU, and we are now broadcasting from our post-storm era of Hurricane Sandy. I must first send out my apologies for those who were expecting to start the class November 1st, but because of, again, like I said, our dear sister Sandy, our facilities in my region have been knocked out. There is no broadband service. There's no electrical power. Many people are without heat. Well, everyone within my area is without heat. And so it's my town, city that I live in has called a state of emergency. So due to that, I was not able to deliver the class in the quality that I desired to deliver the class. So it's been postponed to November 11th. By then, everything should be back on. Now, fortunately for me, I actually run my house on solar power, and I'm partially off the grid. So I actually have heat and I have electricity, but I do not have cable service. The cable company, whose power also went out, their generator went down. Well, basically, a generator ran out of gas. So I don't want to say it went down, and everybody's broadband went out. So it was a very interesting state of affairs that has been brought on. And I've been enjoying the time actually looking at the reaction of the masses and how their behavior has shifted in some ways, but how they've also fought and struggled to maintain some of the same consistencies that they had before. So again, due to that, like I said, I have power and everything, but I have no internet service. Even now, this is being sent off from a little corner of a coffee shop where people are huddled inside for warmth, or people have been huddled in fast food restaurants and coffee shops and anywhere they can go to get warm. Although it's not really cold outside. So again, it's very interesting to watch the reaction of the masses when they can't turn a switch and lights come on, or they have to double up in their clothing and maybe sit under a blanket or light a fire, do something like that. It's kind of interesting to watch. It's sad, especially for those who are elderly and have had trees and things fall on their homes, which has happened in this area. Some people have also experienced heavy flooding. For me, I've been fortunate. This time, the shrine did not get flooded out, which did happen before, but I did get a pretty big tree fall into my yard and crush my fence. No big deal, though. It just gives me an opportunity to do some different type of landscaping once the weather warms up. So, there's an upside to everything, So that is the deal with the classes. They will initiate November 11th. Until then, I will actually be releasing a video between now and then, an instructional video to get people primed and ready. So the fact that it's starting a little late, it can work in our favor. It just gives us all time, including myself, to prep a little bit more. I decided because of the storm, I'll probably throw in a bonus lecture, a bonus chapter, so that everyone can enjoy that, and it'll kind of make up for that lost time. Some things occurred in the past couple of days dealing with the storm, and I was able to have dialogue with people who I normally would not have spoken to, just because more people are outside now. Most people don't want to sit in their houses with no electricity and read a book or interact with their families, or maybe they don't have families to interact with. So there's one strip where I live, which is the downtown area, which has power. Interesting enough, the buses have stopped running. They just started up recently. So people were unable to get to work, but they were able to go spend their money in the downtown area. So lots of interesting observations. And of course, I received an email from a brother, and he asked if I will at some point speak on the significance of Hurricane Sandy, and I certainly will. And I already begun receiving transmissions from the spirit realm about the meaning of this hurricane in this time, as well as the natural artifacts that are coming along with the hurricane, as well as the man-made energy and artifacts that would be coming along with this particular storm. I'm just sitting and watching it all transpire and making my notes, and of course that will be delivered to you. The energy, like I said, I wanted to get into is the energy of Lord Krsna. Krsna is a Vedic archetype or avatar. He's known to be the supreme avatar, the highest avatar. This is known as the Pern avatar. Now, I could be pronouncing that wrong, but it's the Pern avatar, which represents the highest form of an avatar. And again, remember, Vishnu has thousands of avatars, and the main ones that you'll see when you study Vishnu or the Hindu systems, you'll see 10 as the main ones. Rama, being one of them, Brahman, which is like the highest caste system as we know. Of course, Krsna, and there are many others. But Krsna is the avatar that came forth that represented divine love, or the highest aspect and awareness of love that we can obtain. Krsna also associated with Rama. Rama represented divine righteousness and propriety. If we were to make our correlations, Rama would be similar to Ma'at or Obatala, and that Rama represented a set of cosmic principles that one could live by in order to obtain right standing with Vishnu or the Almighty. Because even prior to that, you had like Indra. Now, Indra was an avatar that was like more fierce and just about the fear, and kind of like even the God of the Old Testament that we read about, which we know to be Yuya, that fear, angry, and jealous God, would be closer to Indra. And Krishna on the other end is like a Christ, where Christ now comes with the dispensation of grace. Now, it's not so much in the Old Testament, if you broke one law, you broke all the laws, whereas Christ came with the concept of forgiveness, and that Christian mythology for what we know. Now, here in the Hindu systems, we have Krishna, who comes forth, and very similar to the Christ story, he was hunted at birth. He was the 8th child of his mother. His mother's name was Princess Devaki, and the king that was going to be overthrown by this 8th child, because that's what the prophecy said, that the 8th child of Princess Devaki would overthrow the kingdom. The king's name was Kamsa. So Princess Devaki was pretty much held in captivity for every birth that she had. When Krishna was born, when he breathed his first breath, he put the guards who were around him to sleep. So his father was able to get him out of the kingdom, and he swapped him for a girl, another baby girl, and brought her back, and figured that the king would not kill a girl, but he did anyway. But Krishna was able to grow and live and not be taken out. Again, this is very similar to the Christian Moses story. This is very similar to the Jesus story, King Herod. Again, this whole killing off of the male in order to maintain a certain legacy and a reign and a dynasty. Krishna represents the coming of the new energy. That's what we always have to understand when we're dealing with these different avatars, and we say, well, this one had a fight with that one, this one had a fight with that one. All that means is that there's a new era coming forth. So Krishna represented the new era of love that had to come forth following the last avatar, just as Christ represented the new era of self-accountability and forgiveness that had to come forth. If you've ever been able to see any Hindi artwork, you'll see Krishna a lot, even like in Indian restaurants. You'll see the blue child. He's always painted as blue, and he's very handsome. He always has his flute, which he uses to charm people, and to basically, he's like a Pied Piper type, always surrounded by women, because unlike the Christ energy, Krishna is very promiscuous. He does not turn down any woman, and women love him. So he's kind of like a Dionysus in that sense. We'll get into Dionysus later. If I had to compare him, like how we have Rama, who is like a Ma'at, Krishna would be a cross between Eshu and Oshun. For some of these systems, again, you won't always find a direct correlation, and you shouldn't try to make everything Orisha. You lose the point when you do that. Sometimes you'll find direct correlation, sometimes you won't. Now, we can make Krishna Eshu, or we could make Krishna even Shango, because Shango is like a Christ energy. But we learn more about Krishna when we just learn Krishna. And then we can see, oh, that's compared to this, compared to that. And then we can learn more from the story from that. So one thing you'll find with Krishna is that he has this affinity to cow's milk and butter. Now, of course, in Hindi culture, the cow is considered to be sacred. Well, this is obviously Het Haru, Hathor, or as we also know to be Oshun. And that cow's milk is like ambrosia to Krishna. It awakens his powers, but he goes through all kind of schemes in order to get his hands on cow's milk. He lies, he steals, he does all these different things. So Krishna, being that divine love aspect, he's mischievous even within himself, but he's still accepted and loved, and he's so charming that no one can really stay mad at him. He's also a shapeshifter. Now, what's interesting again with the story of Krishna and why I'm speaking about it now, November's full moon brings us a very significant Krishna celebration by the name of Sharad Purnima. And Sharad Purnima, and again, I could be pronouncing that wrong. My Hindi accents, and I know the words, but the accents kind of elude me. But this celebration is very interesting because at this time, Krishna uses his flute to lure all of the deities out of heaven onto earth. And there are 900,000 women who come to give their devotion to Krishna. And at that time, he's able to also duplicate himself. And he replicates himself so that he can spend time with each and every woman. So they feel like they have a personal connection with Krishna. So one of the things about the Krishna energy, it's that divine love, but it's also that selfless service to everyone where you are present to everyone at all times. So during this particular celebration, he lures them out of heaven, he brings them to earth, and it's on November's full moon. Now, significant here is that Krishna's, I'd say his main lover, even though he has like the Gopi girls, these are the three, it's the triple goddess energy. These are three girls who were originally like cow herders who are his three lovers. And he also has many other lovers, like there are too many to count, Lakshmi being one of them, who was eventually given to another deity because the deities actually became kind of jealous because Krishna was, he was knocking all the women. So, but Radha, very important name for you to remember in this time. We're dealing with the significance of Hurricane Sandy. Radha is an energy where she is in love with Krishna, like she's madly in love with Krishna. Everything she does it with Krishna consciousness. And it's taught in the Krishna movement that everything you do, you should do it to the glory of Krishna. Whether you eat, you drink, you dance, whatever, it's for Krishna. So you have Radha, who's madly in love with Krishna, and they have an illicit relationship that goes on forever because Radha is actually married. So she's involved in an adulterous affair with Krishna. Now, during this celebration, even though Krishna replicates himself, his true form he gives to Radha. Now, Radha is a very interesting energy because Radha teaches us selfless devotion to our higher self, because Krishna represents our highest energy, or us as deities and archetypes ourselves. That's why when we speak about Krishna, we speak about the Krishna consciousness. Now, Krishna is always painted as blue. And as I told many of you before, when you're dealing with mythology and even cartoons, blue is melanin. So we're talking about the higher etheric realms, the Akasha energy, that black ether. So whenever we're dealing with Krishna, we're dealing with our highest energy, our highest selves. And Radha represents forsaking everything in order to connect with that highest energy. She's even willing to risk her marriage. She doesn't care about anything else. And she's one of the most beautiful deities. That's the other thing, but she doesn't care about her beauty. Matter of fact, when she looks at it and a reflection of the water, she feels like it's a waste, because if she can't give her beauty to Krishna, it's not worth anything. Krishna is, even though she's married, Krishna is the only lover that she really cares or thinks about. She doesn't care about any of her material attachments or earthly concepts other than Krishna. Her concern is always, does Krishna feel the same way about her? Even if he does or does not, it doesn't matter. She still devotes herself to Krishna. Now, this is very interesting when you're dealing with concepts of plural marriage. A lot of times people have asked me, well, how is it that you can love each woman equally? You can't, and you don't. It's not about that. You love each one based on the equality that you share with that person one-on-one. Just like when you have children, sometimes you have certain children that you love more than other children. Doesn't mean that any children feel a lack or a void, but you know inwardly within yourself, maybe one particular child has more of your characteristics, so you feel more drawn to that child. You're a little bit more connected than you may be to another child. We focus too much on the love that we give one another, and that's not really so important. Radha reminds us that your highest devotion and desire to connect should be with your highest element, that Akasha, not each other. And that's the mistake that we make a lot of times when we join organizations and groups. It becomes more about the camaraderie fellowship and social etiquette that we now begin to develop amongst one another. And a lot of times we forget the original reason why we came there, which was to connect ourselves to this highest or higher energy. So Radha always reminds you that it's not really about connecting to us on a one-on-one selfish level. It's about connecting to that highest energy. So even in a plural situation, it's more about connecting to the principles and the foundations and the mission of what that family represents, more so than it's about connecting to one another in our temporal sense, because connecting to a human personality or even a human body or a human social concept, this is ridiculous, because this is not the eternal part of the person. The eternal part of the person is that soul. And the only way you can connect to another soul is by making sure that your connection is strengthened to the supreme soul or the supreme spirit or the higher intelligence. Then you'll always have an understanding amongst whether it's your children or your mates or whomever. So the Radha relation is important, and I'll tell you why. Radha is very similar to our Oya energy. You could say that she's an avatar that comes right out of the Oya family. And during this time, the full moon is November 28th. November 28th, 2012 will be this Krishna and Radha joining. Now, there's been times where I've spoken to people and they've actually seen them. If you look in the moon, one day somebody told me that they saw someone dancing in the moon. This was Radha and Krishna, because during this celebration, he dances with everyone. He plays his flute and his music, but there's like a dance and a celebration, and all the women get to dance with him, but they're really actually dancing with his replica. And the true soul, or the true Krishna, is actually dancing with Radha, who we know to be an Oya energy. So I'm actually going to go deeper into the significance of this time in the storm. Not yet, but, that's just kind of a precursor to what I've been observing and noticing. And I've been led to Krishna. And it was one night, I was in my bed, and something made me turn in early, which I don't do. I pretty much work through the night and just get maybe 4 or 5 hours in the dawning. But I turned in early, and I found myself in the middle of the night chanting the Maha Mantra. I didn't even know I remembered the Maha Mantra. And the reason I first got introduced to Krishna was through a cousin of mine who's a Hare Krishna. And as a child, somehow I guess some of his books made it into our home. And I remember seeing these images of this little blue boy fighting everybody with a smile on his face. And just as a child, I thought it was like a comic almost. And, I really more focused on the pictures, but then I started reading the stories. And I found them very interesting. I didn't totally, on a conscious level, understand the spiritual significance, but I was always drawn to it. And I remember this chant that they would say. At the time, I didn't know that it was the Maha Mantra. I just knew it as the Hare Krishna chant. And it was Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And as a child, I just figured this was their theme music. I didn't know about a mantra or chant, anything. I just figured this is what they liked singing when they were walking around dancing with the tambourines and the shaved heads and all that. This is actually a very powerful mantra that you can use, because what it does is it calls forth Rama and it calls forth Krishna. So it's calling forth Ma'atic energy, and it's calling forth that Shango, Heru, Oshun, Eshu energy. And what it actually is it's a chant for the Kaliya era, which we're currently in. This is the age and the era of ignorance, Kaliya. This chant connects you immediately. It's like a divine subway where it goes express to Vishnu's qualities of righteousness, or let's just say Vishnu's qualities of Ma'at and Vishnu's qualities of divine love. And if you start chanting this chant over and over again, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and you just keep saying it over and over again, you're going to find yourself starting to feel real light. Because what it does is it removes the illusion and lightens the energy of Maya. Now, Maya is the energy of what I always tell you, the three-dimensional reality that's not real, that holographic universe, but it's the glamour and the illusion of the world that keeps us distracted from connecting to our Krishna consciousness. And this chant actually lightens that load of the distraction of the overstimulation of our senses and brings us right there on a soul level to these forces. So it's something that you can utilize, when you don't know what to chant. But I think it's easy to remember. Maybe it's just because I grew up hearing it. Shout out to my cousin Kirk. I think you can remember it. And it's just basically bringing forth Krishna and bringing forth Rama. Now, I found what was interesting, because I always remember this story with Krishna when he defeated the multi-headed serpent known as Kaliya. And Kaliya, or Kaliya was an energy that was so toxic that when Kaliya stepped into this lake and the cows came and drank after Kaliya, all of the cows died. What Kaliya was spreading was bad information, okay, in a simple sense. And we'll probably get further into the Kaliya energy and Krishna's battle. And Krishna had to end up fighting Kaliya. Now, there was another deity that came, and Kaliya defeated that energy, and no one could beat Kaliya. And then Krishna came and went down underwater and fought Kaliya in this lake, and rose to the surface playing his flute, but stepping and dancing on the head of Kaliya. Now, of course, Kaliya represented that Kundalini energy, represented also there was a sexual connotation there, but Krishna conquered the misdirected information of that Kaliya serpent and redirected it for something good. So Krishna, or that love energy, is a transformative energy that can now recycle bad experiences, bad information, bad data, and redirect it to a more righteous purpose and cause. Very similar to Oshun, and this is very similar to even Radha. Radha is a archetype of compassion, much like Oya, much like Kuan Yin. And in terms of that compassion, Radha takes you just as you are and teaches you how to take whatever dirt or distraction that you have on you and examine it and use it to get yourself closer to Krishna consciousness or your highest level of awareness. So this whole defeat of Kaliya deals with, of course, the ignorance of the Kali Yuga era and Krishna overcoming that Kali Yuga era, which is again the era that we're in right now, which is the age and the era of ignorance, ending with the closing out of the Mayan calendar, this 2012 that everyone keeps talking about. Well, this actually ends the Kali Yuga era and brings us into a new era, which we'll speak about. But again, for the significance of the storm and everything, there's a lot to get into, but focus your energy right now on this Krishna and Radha mating and joining. This is very important because it's a high energy for them right now, and you can ride that energy out and start to use them in your meditations. Offerings you can bring to Krishna are milk, because remember, he's crazy about his milk. You can bring peacock feathers. His symbol is the fawn, so you'll always see that animal, the fawn, with Krishna representing that youth and that innocence. You can always just get a picture of Krishna. Krishna also has a red like U underneath his pineal or first eye, representing that he is activated there. But you can always bring, whether it's a picture or just an open heart, flute music. But milk is real powerful. You can burn jasmine, and you can also burn jasmine and lavender for Radha. Radha's energies will align you with purple, the color purple. So you can bring her flowers. You can also bring Krishna flowers as well. And you can start working with those energies from that perspective. And for Krishna, just do that chant. And for Radha, just visualize Krishna and Radha joining together and dance. And for Radha, you can do a bath to her just using like rose water. You don't want to put anything harsh in that bath that will strip your aura. For that one, you want to bring yourself as you are, but you could use something soft like rose water, and you put that in the bath, and you can light a blue candle, that's for Krishna and Radha, and a purple candle, or a blue, purple, and yellow candle. And that will bring you closer to that Krishna and Radha energy. And you just start doing that chant over and over, over and over and over and over. And Krishna's going to appear to you in a form. Everybody might have a different form, because in the books, you'll always see him either as a child or as an adult. He's always fighting. Like, he's a warrior, but he's a warrior who fights with a smile on his face. Nothing is ever a struggle. Similar to Oshun. Nothing's a struggle, so when he'll beat like the most fiercest demons, all the gods have to bow down to him. Even the old ancient gods, they have to bow down to Krishna. But he does all of this with a smile, and he's very playful and, of course, mischievous. So again, you can invoke this energy, and however it appears to you, go with it. And you're going to find yourself feeling real light, That's okay. And you might even feel a level of sexual arousal when you're dealing with the Radha and Krishna energy, because they're very similar to Shiva and Shakti. Like they're mated. He has many lovers, but Radha's the one. And, you know, on, like I said, a mundane level, sometimes that's just how it is. Even in a plural situation, you may have many people who you deal with, or multiple, let's say even if it's 2 or 3, but you know there's one that's just your soul. When you look at this one, you just see your soul. When you see deep down into your soul, you see this person. And it doesn't mean that makes you love any of the other ones any less, but this one is your match, your mate. That's it for our session today. Our classes will be initiating on November 11th as opposed to November 1st because of, again, our dear sister Hurricane Sandy knocked everything out. So, you know, we have to pull back from what we intended to do. And, you know, keep yourself posted to the pages. A lot of you have sent me emails asking me what's going on with the classes. But if you have liked the Facebook page right now, you would have seen the post for the classes. So please find some time, if you can, to get over and do that. And that way you can stay posted as to what's going on with classes or whatever, you know, Facebook. And I also sent out a newsletter as well, but it's much easier if you just follow the Facebook to know what's going on. But I don't foresee any issues with the November 11th start, and I will get into the energy of that 11th number with our next broadcast. But until then, I am Yuya. It's been a pleasure, and thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for your continued generosity just in sharing your own stories with me. I get a lot of emails about what people are now experiencing based on what they've been listening to and what the things that we've been covering. And I know that that's a very sacred thing for you to do, to expose yourself in that manner. And on another note too, for questions that are sent in, email or otherwise, if they're of a general spiritual nature, I'm going to answer them over the air. That allows me to better make use of my time. So if you want your personality hidden, just let me know, and that's no problem. I get a lot of emails with a lot of questions, and though I would love to be able to reply to them individually, it's a little difficult for me sometimes, just with all the other things that I have going on. But this time that I have dedicated to you and to my mission is a wonderful time where I can kind of answer your stuff pretty quickly. Sometimes I could do it quicker verbally than I can, you know, writing back anyway. So just keep that in mind. And typically the broadcast will be live as well. It's just on this one, I'm not able to do it because, again, of the massive power outages. All right. So in any event, stay strong, connect with Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now you say it in whatever melody or flow you want to say it, but I just gave it to you again so you'll have it. All right. So peace, stay safe, stay warm. One.